Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of stampwithnellie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK. Recently I made this card for the Project Share blog hop with my great friends Jill, Gez and Verity. And our theme for this month was to use our favourite techniques. One of my absolute favourites is heat embossing, but I also quite like doing this technique here where you stamp onto a dark background and you use white ink to fill it in, and then you can colour it. And I've actually coloured this white heat embossing as well. So those were my two favourite techniques. I love a bit of die cutting as well. Started off my card making journey with die cutting, so it's in my DNA now. So it does kind of pop off that black background, and if you thought that one popped, this one's going to pop even more because I am switching out the rich raspberry, which is sadly one of the colours that is now retiring, and I'm using Parakeet Party instead. So to colour this one, I used Daffodil Delight, Rich Raspberry and Shaded Spruce, and I'm gonna use Parakeet Party, Sweet Sorbet and Orchid Oasis. I'm using the dark blends rather than the lighter ones just so that we get a stronger colour on there. Alright, so first things first, let's do our heat embossing. I've got my embossing buddy and I'm just going to pop that along there because I'm just going to stamp in that corner. In fact, I'm going to do a little bit there as well, aren't I? So let's get that. And then my Versamark part, something I hadn't picked out. Versamark, and I got this gorgeous stamp, which is from a set that we now know is retiring, called Decorative Borders. At least I think it is retiring. I'll double check that. It's so hard to keep track with everything that's coming and going. So I'll try to stamp this one straight because the last one was well off. Straight's overrated. There we go. So Versamark ink onto there. Super. And I'm just going to stamp the sentiment note of thanks at the same time. Again, let's see if I can get it kind of straightish. There we go. Then I've got my embossing toolkit, and I want the white embossing powder. Sprinkle lots of that on, and then see if I can get my nails underneath it to pick up again. There we go. Right, and I have a little fine paintbrush just to take off any excess, because white on black, you're definitely going to spot it. So take your time and just make sure you've got all of those, any of those little bits, and they are just little bits because I use my embossing buddy. Okay, that should hopefully do. There will be bits that will show up as soon as they're heat embossed. Guaranteed. All of that out the way. And then I'm just going to switch on my heat tool and emboss that. I just love the way that dull powder reacts and melts and goes lovely and glossy. told you I'd miss little bits, or they fly about when you put the heat tool on. Now we've got some of the Embossing Buddy powder there, making that look a little bit dull. I just have an old cloth that gets used for absolutely everything in this craft room, and just give that a little rub, just gently, and it will take most of that off and give you back your lovely dark background. Alright, so next stage is to add some white craft ink. Now this comes as an uninked pad, so you do get the re-inker when you order the pad. So you could just use the re-inker onto a little clear block, which is my, I think that was the embossing one. Right, I'm not going to add any water to this because I don't want it to be too dulled down. I did do that with my first one, and then realised I needed to do it full strength. Sorry, I need my glasses for this. And then you're just going to go in, probably could have done with a bigger brush actually. Just move that around so that you've got on your brush, and you are simply, cheap brushes, Heather. Okay. I didn't want to use an aqua painter because I didn't want it to get too wet, but I think I might actually grab one. Sorry, water painter, not aqua painter. There's the thin one, that one. So there is the tiniest little bit of water on that, just left over from previous. Let's see if that works better. Nah, it's still too light. There was too much water on that. We'll persevere, we'll build it up. Because the whiter you get it, the more intense your colour will be on top to really pop. I'm just going to go along and do all of that, but what I'm going to do is get another block. And now that I've got a little bit of water on the brush, but not too much, hopefully that'll be a bit more intense. Yes, that works. Perseverance. And you can just go along and build all that up. So I will just keep going and probably fast forward you through this. Okay, so we've got a little bit of white on there, enough to give it a little bit of colour. Just want to make sure that is totally dry. So I'm going to put that to the side for now, and I'm going to cut the sentiment from my card layer, which has just gone walkabout. Hadn't gone walkabout, just got covered up as usual. Okay, so I'm going to put a piece of adhesive sheet on the back of here. Okay. The next bit. Like that, okay. And I'm going to die cut my sending from there. Okay, so let's bring in the biggie. I don't want my card to get all marked, the correct side to get all marked with my base plate, so hoping I've got that in the right place. Have we got it cut all the way through? Yes, we do. That. So that just saves you using another piece of card, because when I put that layer on there, you cannot tell that I have taken that out of there. And the adhesive sheet means that I don't have to fiddle about with little bits of glue, which I did do with my original one, and bits of glue. Although it does dry clear, you do still get to see a little bit of it because of the shine on that black card. So this way, much easier. I can peel the back off of that in 2 pieces. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Because it was 2 pieces I put on. Oh, there's a little here. Don't want that. And if I get the other bit off, come on. There we go. Right, let's get that kind of back into shape. And I'm going to pop that on here. Right, so clear this. Let's add some colour to that piece with our blends, because that is totally dry now. So I'm going to do the bullet tip and just go right over those lines here, like that, and do those leaves. And because this is alcohol ink, it dries pretty quickly. You don't need to do anything to dry it. And in fact, if you do try and heat set it, it will actually dull the colour, which you don't really want. Not something that vibrant. So just going over the lines and over the bit where we have painted in white for the leaves. And because you've got a black background, it's quite forgiving with if you go over those embossed white lines. And when I say if, I mean when. Okay. So just doing all of the greenery first, and then I can come back and colour in those little flowers. I found that very therapeutic to do. You probably didn't find it quite so therapeutic to watch, but never mind. So let's do the largest flowers in Sweet Sorbet. So with that white ink, you'd get a little bit of colour on the black. It's the embossing that pops most, but you do get a little bit of colour there too. It's worth doing. Believe me. So again, just like with the white, you can build up the colour by going over it again and again with your blend. There we are, and I'll just do this one here as well. I've got my larger flowers with Sweet Sorbet. And then for the smaller ones, I'm just going to do all of those. So you've got two different types. Ooh, that's nice. There we go. Love that pop against the black. That's awesome. And there you have it. Now if you wanted, you could colour your note of thanks whatever colour you like, but I quite like the white on that. And again, because it's alcohol inks, dries in no time. A little bit of fluff on there. Let's see if I can, there we go. Now I haven't done the eye on sending. I could, if I had the patience of a saint, try and get the backing off that. Oh, did it? Did it? Let's go there. That will do. Awesome. Simply layer this up now. That bit onto our parakeet party. There we go. And then finally, I could take the backing off that to give us an extra bit of stick, but yeah. I do prefer my wet glue. Okay, so my card base, just checking I've got it opening the right way. even that up a little. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. Tried to even it up a little, moved it a lot. More. Oh, dearie me. Why can't I get this on evenly? The joys of wet glue. And now if I had taken the backing off that, that'll just have to do. It's not going to come off another time. Then it would have been totally stuck, and the first time I put it down, so I'm quite glad I didn't take it off. Right, there we go. And with the previous one, I coloured the rhinestones that I used with Stampin Blends, so I'll just do the same here. So we've got a nice bright parakeet party on that. So just simply adding a bit of colour straight onto those. Another great technique. And let's try and not lose them. And just put a few of these on. And if you've got any real big bits of embossing powder, you could cover that up too. Yay! So I do hope that you've enjoyed seeing today's card, looking at these different techniques for heat embossing and doing a whitewash technique using Stampin Blends to add some extra colour on there. Definitely has a bit of a wow factor against that black. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you have, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment. If you're new to my channel, then please do click on that subscribe button and click the bell to get notification the next time I upload a tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, take care. Bye bye.